Alright, let's speak about low effort Son with Ola riffs. Here's one for instance. Hello everyone and welcome to Sunday with SWOLA149. Hello. Ha! It's another Sunday. How are you guys doing? Are you doing good? We have a bunch of shit to talk about, but let's engage the Edelkrone from hell. I think I'm gonna rename that thing to Edelkrone from hell. Little ale face. Look at it go. Edelkrone from hell. I love you and hate you at the same time. Solar guitar related news. Hello. We've had news for the past summer. It's just that I haven't talked too much about it. Anyway, this past Friday, we released new Sustainiac guitars again. Do you remember the Sustainiac guitars? We had them before, but then they got sold out, and now we have them again. Look at this. This is the AB 1.6 Candy Apple Red Sustainiac with a plus pickup. Yes, it's a plus pickup in it. That's what I said. Obviously gloss, but with a satin neck. So cool. But, hey-oh. Even though this guitar is absolutely amazing and absolutely beautiful, did I say that twice? Take a look at this purple 7-string right there. Holy macaroni, look at it. So same thing there, you have a gloss body and then you have a satin neck, you know, for that satin feel. So listen to this, man. Sustainiac, obviously. Check this out. It's pure sex. You can hear that sustained note, right? Beautiful. And swearing so early in the SWOLA, I have to be careful about that, actually. So yeah, we have the Sustainiac guitars back in stock on solarguitars.com. You know, I'm just happy to play guitar. You know, I went to the John Petrucci Guitar Universe camp this last week, and even though it was extremely inspiring and, you know, I got to watch so many guitar players play guitar, I didn't actually get to play that much guitar. It was a shame. I mean, you were sitting there in the class and having a good time, but you listened and you learned, but you necessarily didn't play that much guitar. So I'm happy to be back. I'm super inspired to play guitar. So hell yes, baby. The news. Have you guys noticed the rain? Was that the rain down in Europe? Well, there's been raining a lot this past week. In in Europe and actually here in Sweden, there's been a lot of problems. There's a storm called Hans. What the f***, Hans? What are you thinking? F***ing people's lives up like that. Well, the rain has severely affected some of Europe's biggest festivals out there. One is Wacken. You know, the biggest one, the biggest metal festival, man. It's Wacken. They had to halt admission after persistent rain turned site to mud. And, you know, this has somewhat been a curse for Wacken. You know, it basically always rains at Wacken, but not to the amount that it was this year. I mean, take a look at this picture. That looks great right there. My God. Okay, more pictures. Oh no. Well, you know, oh, they're pulling the truck right there. I mean, that's Wacken right there. It's just mud. Holy shit, that sucks ass. The Wacken Open Air Heavy Metal Festival in Northern Germany is opening on Wednesday with a reduced audience after persistent rain turned the grounds to mud and forced organizers to order a halt to all new arrivals. Organizers of the famed music festival in the village of Wacken in a rural area had already told fans on Tuesday that no more cars and trucks could be admitted to the site because camping areas, the grounds and the access to the roads were in poor condition because of heavy rain in the recent days, and more was expected. And actually, they sent texts to people here in Scandinavia to not come. Do not go to this festival. People with tickets, they were texting them here in Scandinavia saying like, don't come down there. It's terrible right now. Don't come. It's the first time since the event was held in 1990 that they had to stop admissions, adding that we're very sad, but the continuing difficult weather situation unfortunately leave us no other choice. A crowd of 85,000 people originally was expected at the sold-out event. Police estimated that about 50% made it to the site before admissions were halted, and about half of the rain-soaked camping site was occupied, German news agency DPA reported. But they still got some bands to perform. Bands expected to perform at the event running through Saturday include Iron Maiden, Megadeth, and Halloween. So some of them did play, alas, to a smaller audience. Same thing happened with Metal Days in Slovenia, which is a great festival. It got completely cancelled the last day after torrential rain and flash floods ravaged Slovenia. Do we have any pictures of this? Look at this. Poor guy, man. That's oh well. I mean, it doesn't look that bad. Oh well, that car looks bad. That sucks f***ing ass right there. So there you go. People are probably going to say in the comment section, oh, it's not global warming. It's not global warming. Oh, comment. Fuck you. Alright, some guitar-related news. Affordable dual rectifier JCM 800 and 5150 tones for your pedal board? TC Electronic makes a play for the high-end sector with 3 new Ampworx pedals. Oh, okay. The 149 dual rec, Jims 800 and 550 seek to further shake up the amp modeler market. Okay, let's watch. What is this? Start from the top. That sounds pretty good for a dry recorded signal. Tim Alvin, the boy that got away. Oh shit. Where did he go though? Oh, this is Bassist, man. Oh, that's Bassist. Holy shit, it's the guy. Sven from Bassist. I thought I recognized that riff. Is it just me or is it completely out of sync or something? I don't know if the problem is on my end, why it's so out of sync, but cool, man. The news have been shit lately, so, you know, it's actually a good time right now to release news on, for guitar-related products, because no one else is doing it at the moment. So, good on you, TC Electronics. You know, at least I got a little pumped. You know, a little pump. The rap guy. Madball bassist to leave the band. Right now, financially and mentally, it isn't enough for me. Okay, though he stresses there's no problem between himself and the band. The bass player has revealed that he's leaving the band after 30 years. Guerra broke the news on the One Life, One Chance podcast, saying his reason for leaving is that Madball has slowed down too much over the years. Guerra said he'll play the band's remaining European dates and makes it super clear that there's no beef between him and his soon-to-be former bandmates. Shout out to the guys in the band. I love them and everything, but the fact is the band slowed down too much and I'm on double time right now. Right now, financially and mentally, it isn't enough for me. So he's not making enough money, you know, working with his band. That sucks ass. I got a lot of things I want to do, and like I was telling you, my children eat a lot. Okay, I got to be working, and the band slowed down. It's harder for me to make things happen, but there's no beef. It's all love. I wish them all the best, but I'm only doing the next 2 European runs, and that's it. So basically, it's, you know, musician life right there. Not earning, you know, enough money, so people have to do other things. It sucks for the band because, I mean, in my opinion, the bands that I listen to, I want them to be able to do it full time because then they get to fully focus on what they love to do the most. Hopefully it shows in the albums that they release. Having to kind of like, well, I don't have, you know, I can't afford staying in the band. That sucks ass. That's why I wanted to lift this up, because I think it genuinely sucks ass. All right, Corey Taylor's latest take on Artistry today. He's saying, you're an object and you're going to be treated as such. This is one of the problems with social media. Now artists aren't regarded as people anymore. And I think he's kind of referring to Dave Mustaine. You know, last week I talked about that and how Dave Mustaine said it was okay to throw shit at their artists. And that sucks. Don't say that. You know, people will probably go to a Megadeth show and throw shit at Dave. Just because he said it was okay. That's not very smart. Amid the growing trend of fans throwing objects at artists while they're performing came Megadeth frontman Dave Mustaine and his idea that maybe some of them deserve it. On the opposite end of that opinion is Corey Taylor, who feels artists have never been treated more like trash than they are right now. The fact that people can't understand how utterly dangerous it is to do shit like as in throwing stuff on stage, how utterly rude it is to treat people like that, how utterly incredible it is to think that you're so special that the show is just about you and not about anyone else around you. The level of entitlement that is being brought out in people is freaking disgusting. Taylor also addressed the overarching problem of social media and being disconnected from interacting with people face to face, noting that artists are basically not even people anymore. Oh, it's freaking ridiculous, he said. This is one of the problems with social media. Now artists aren't regarded as people anymore. Even if they never were, they were still regarded as something that is flesh and bone. They were something to obsess about, but at least they were a person. Now, because of the feeling of being even more removed from the human experience, now you might as well just be a f***ing soda machine or a phone booth for f***ing sake. You're an object, and you're gonna be treated as such. Well, that's a little harsh view on the matter, in my opinion. But basically what he's saying and what they're writing right here, that, you know, obviously it goes deeper than that some people are behaving like assholes, and it becomes a whole psychological dive into concert goers wanting to be a part of the show versus that idea quickly becoming a reality. So I think people just feel a little bit more entitled nowadays. That's what it is. And you know, in my case, obviously, you know, I'm a YouTube channel and, you know, people watch me, and some people even, you know, they probably know me because they've been watching me for so long. So people understand what I speak about and, you know, my morals and, you know, my values, I think. So a lot of people feel that maybe they know me, which is, that's okay. But in reality, you probably have no idea who I am. This is my job. You know, I'm here, and maybe compared to a lot of other YouTubers, I am more of myself than, you know, other YouTubers will probably put on more of a, you know, a facade to kind of protect themselves, maybe disconnect themselves from, you know, their YouTube person to their private person, I would say. I just thought it was really, you know, nerve-wracking to do that, because then you need to keep track of so much things. So I'm just being myself instead. Since people know me in a way, you know, because they've been watching my videos, maybe they feel like they're entitled to more. I don't know, I'm just guessing right here. I think it's a little harsh from Corey Taylor right here, but there's probably some truth into it. Oh, this is controversial though. Let's go back talking about, you know, the use of backing tracks live. I mean, I've been talking about this a lot, and when I had Wolfgang Van Halen over here for Coffee with Ola, he basically said, f those people, they use backing tracks. I mean, obviously, it's sort of okay to use backing tracks for, you know, strings and synths and stuff like that you don't want to bring on tour. But I think everyone is referring to like using a second guitar or using bass or on track. For a rock band, for instance, that would be replacing either a guitar, drummer, or bass player, or singing even. Ampworx Scott Ian is okay with use of backing tracks during live shows. Whatever it takes to get a show on. Okay, okay. Obviously, I'm aware that this is something that's going on these days now that technology has made it possible to do this kind of things. And my opinion is, I really don't care. I don't care what artists do or what bands do to make their show happen. My opinion is that it's hard out there for bands and artists these days. It's never been tougher. And whatever it takes to get a show on, I think it's all part of the show. This is just new technology that people aren't accepting it. That's just my opinion. That's actually a very interesting take on this matter, in my opinion. If it's something you don't like, then you have the choice. You have the choice as a consumer to spend your money or not spend your money, and really, that's what it all comes down to. So why there's a big deal about it? Honestly, I don't care. I think this is an interesting take from Scott Ian. As long as the consumer is aware that this is happening. Okay, if I would go to a show to see Pantera and, you know, I hear that there's like a backing track happening, or like, you know, the guitar is on backing track, just as an example. I'm not saying that Pantera are doing it because they have Zakk Wylde. But if I came to a show expecting to see a performance by a certain guitar player or a bass player, and there is no bass player on stage, and you can hear there's bass and there's backing track, then I will probably be disappointed. But if I knew beforehand that there would be backing tracks and I still purchased a ticket, then I don't think that's a problem either. Different angle from Scott Ian, I appreciate that. Alright, last but not least, Cannibal Corpse have released a new single. It's called Summon for Sacrifice. It's as heavy as a bag of dicks. Holy shit. You know, if there's something I'm real looking forward to this autumn, it's a new freaking Cannibal Corpse album, baby. I think there's definitely something wrong with the sync, because he's singing right there, but it was silent. So I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's up. I can't explain it, but it's whatever it is. And Rob Barrett is saying, I believe that our songwriting has progressed in a manner where every song paves its own path. Whether it's straightforward or technical song, notes guitarist Rob Barrett. Sometimes it's a mix of both, so there's no preconceived idea that we want to be more technical. The music just sort of takes its own course. I don't think there was any conscious effort to make things more technical, so if it wound up that way, it would just be a natural result of us trying to write the heaviest song we could, added Webster. And obviously this new album features Eric Rutan, the new guitar player, and I can definitely feel producer, engineer Eric Rutan, you know, Hate Eternal and all that, and I can definitely hear that he's had, you know, his little hands in the soup, you know, this time. There's definitely a little bit of Eric Rutan in there, and I appreciate that. The album Chaos Horrific will be out September 22nd, so only a short little month, and then we're there, baby. Then news. So as I mentioned earlier, I came home from the John Petrucci Guitar Universe these past couple days. The camp was last week, and holy shit, man, what an incredible experience that was altogether. And I filmed, and I have more than 5 hours worth of material from that camp, and somehow I had to kind of like, you know, bounce it down to 35 minutes worth of a vlog. And if you haven't seen that, it's up on my channel. I recommend you seeing it because it's a very good insight of how everything was at the camp. Before I went to the camp, I felt like, this is a little bit expensive. Like the price you will pay to go there with the hotel and all. I thought, you know, it's a little too much. But now, after I've been there, I completely understand. And I think it's absolutely worth going there. Holy shit, what an incredible, inspiring camp that was. First of all, you get like an overdose. Maybe that's a bad word, but you get like an overdose of John Petrucci in a good way, okay? He had 2 master classes a day, so you get like 3 hours per day in a class with John Petrucci for the 3 different days. And then you get the individual breakout classes, and those were how many? Maybe 9 in total, because 3 days and 3 every day. So you basically got a chance to watch everyone that was doing classes, you know, Tosin Abasi, Fredrik Åkesson, Guthrie Govan, and Pliny, and Aaron Marshall, everyone. You had time for everyone, which was great. So you didn't miss anyone. Or if you wanted to go back and watch a more advanced class with like Guthrie, you still had a chance to do that. So I felt that there was definitely enough time to get a little bit of everything. And then you got the shows in the evenings, and then you got the jamming as well happening after the big shows, where everyone can just go and jam. And I think everyone wanted to go there and jam and play some drums because everyone was just so inspired. I did the Mouth for War thing with Fredrik Åkesson. I played some drums, and it was a lot of fun, man. Holy shit, I'm so inspired right now. You have no idea. Anyway, just to give a little example of how the John Petrucci masterclass were. In the first masterclasses that he had, he basically went through his tones, like his cleans, his rhythm, his leads, and then showing how we would set up his rig in stereo with, you know, delays and different amplifiers and shit like that. It was incredibly nerdy, and I figured I would show you a little bit of this in this Adventures with Ola. So here we go, all together now.
All right, so the first of all, I think what I'm going to show you today, I'm going to do this in 2 parts. All right, the first part will be this class, the second part will be the second class. But one of the things I want to start with is that whatever I show you here today could definitely be applied to any scenario, any setup that you might have. So, you know, obviously I'm playing the gear that I play because this is what I like, what I gravitated to, and also to what I helped design with these amazing companies. But if you don't have this gear, or you're, say, using a plug-in like an Archetype Petrucci or something like that, or if you're using a Quad Cortex or an Axe-Fx or anything else, I think what I'm going to show you still applies to all the situations, all right? So the first thing is how I think about it, and I'm going to say it's how I see the sound, and I specifically use that word see and not hear, because I look at my guitar sound as an image. That's how I see it. That's what I go for. And the best way to explain it is to kind of give you some examples. So picture let's say picture a painting of some sort of scene. Like let's say it's the beach, right? And if you picture a beautiful painting of the beach, you're going to have, you know, what's in the front, you know, maybe the sand and some little leafy things. You're going to have the ocean, and you're going to have the sky with the sun and some birds and stuff like that. That's a complete picture, right? If that was a guitar sound, it'd probably be an awesome guitar sound if it was done right. It would be like everything would be balanced. You'd be seeing all the things you want to see. Now, if that was a guitar sound, but the painting was all beach, really close up, something would be out of whack, right? It would be like, I don't know, you know, maybe the equivalent is that it would sound too dark or too bassy or whatever. Let's say it was like really off and the sun was way too close and the perspective it was off. It would seem too bright, right? That's how I think about sound. Usually I kind of mix it with the clean sound. That's the sound I would use on, you know. Right, so that's one sound there. The second sound is, of course, the when I was talking about the main rhythm sound. And usually, and this is actually, I guess, lesson number one, I see people make a mistake with this all the time. So it might be a taste thing, but I'm just going to put it out there. I think the crunch sound is your main rhythm sound, and the style of music I play is more metal, right? So I'm kind of coming from the metal perspective. If you don't play metal, maybe this doesn't apply. But for me, that sound should be dry. No, don't put reverb on there. That is mistake no, number one. No reverb, no compression, no noise gate. I know a lot of people like to use noise gates. I don't use them because I think it kind of, I think it plays with the dynamics, the natural dynamics that the amplifier has. But, you know, if you're playing a style that's very stop and go and you need a real heavy sound and you need to have that gate, I'll let it pass. But me, personally, I like to set the amplifier so it's like on the verge of feeding back, and then I pull it back a little bit. Okay? So you see the way it's like stop on a dime dry, right? The gank, as we call it. You want to have the gank. So if you guys are adding, you know, reverb, it's gonna make that muddy, basically. And the third sound, now this is where you do want to add the schmutz if you're live on Long Island. You know that word. You want to add the schmutz. This is where you want your creamy, soaring sort of sound. And again, you know, visually, I always look at this sound. I think I told this to Tosin. My image is that I'm standing on top of a mountain, and I'm playing a solo. The wind is in my hair, and there's all these, like, as I'm playing guitar, with every note, little birds are flying out of my guitar and like just surrounding me, right? That's the lead sound that I tried to go for. you can hear the difference between the 3 different sounds, right?
Yeah, there you go. And you know, I will upload more content from this camp on Old Englund channel number 2. You click here, you subscribe to Old Englund channel number 2. Have you done this already? No? If you haven't, I have a second channel. It's amazing. I promise. How's it going? Oh, he's playing the boss right now. Oh, that's an easy boss, that guy. So he's fairly early in the game. This is a long play video. This is not me playing, you know, but amazing game. Hollow Knight, everyone. Anyways, guys, that was it. That was it for Sunday with SWOLA149 right there. I thoroughly hope you enjoyed it. I hope you guys have an excellent Sunday and an excellent week. And I'll see you in my next video. Goodbye. Remember, Old Englund channel number 2 up here. And if you want to support what I'm doing or what we're doing, get some merch from oldenglandshop.com. Thank you so much for watching. Toodaloo.